Hey, what is going on YouTube? Aaron here. We are in the Agir, the newest campaign to come to World of Warships Legends, and honestly, a tank beast of a cruiser with. This is a good campaign, in my opinion. I know we just ranked a lot of the campaigns, and I wasn't too excited for this campaign, but I actually really like this ship. You'll notice I had some some fanfare in this match, and this turns out to be a fantastic game. 200k, a little bit of brawling, and everything that encompasses what makes this ship good. Now, this is two brothers, and you guys may be thinking, Aaron, why are you not going up the middle? Well, that is because unfortunately we spawned on the right flank here. And as I preach multiple times in stream, in game, in my videos, I try to play the side that I spawn on. Now, we did see a smoke there. We were guessing that it was the Amalfi. But based on how this game plays out, I actually don't think it was the Amalfi. I think it was the Summers. But we tried to blind fire him anyway. Hitting a blind fire like that always leaves the enemy players perplexed and is probably one of the most satisfying things in World of Warships Legends. We saw the smoke dragging from left to right, so you just kind of aim for the middle of it, predict their path. And again, it's just a fun thing to do. But here we are at this island on the D flank here. The destroyer unfortunately went to the left, which is actually a good thing as opposed to going up the middle. We would have preferred him to go our way, but here we are spotted, so we can only assume, and we can see the cap there start to tick, so we can only assume that the destroyer is pushing into D here. So we have a few decisions to make. Do we push in aggressively with our hydro, or do we kite out? Now, we just noticed that two ships were spotted in the middle thanks to the gentleman who pinged them. Pinging stuff and paying attention to the mini-map is a surefire way to win. Ignoring that is just a way to lose. You see it so often. Somebody will be like, hey, there's a destroyer, and the battleships are like, I need intelligence data. But because of that, we actually decide to turn around here. That on top of the Awami out there, pushing into the decap here, we potentially could have gotten this destroyer, but more likely, the more likely scenario that would have played out is us dying. The destroyer has position. We're not that fast. We do have the hydro, and it does last for 2 minutes, which is very useful for killing destroyers, but that would have left our team wide open in the middle here. And if you're paying attention to the minimap, we only have that one battleship who is angled away and one cruiser, which is not really going to do that much to another battleship in the position he's in. And that is when the Veneto pops up. So going back to the middle here was definitely the right play. We were protected from that battleship due to the islands, and the destroyer just launches torps, so we are safe to push this little gap here. And you can see we have a broadside Veneto. We get trolled with RNG. The guns are good on this thing, but they are still German, so Wargaming hates them a little bit, and they will never be, Russian, I guess, as you can see. 2 salvos, 5k against the broadside Veneto. We should have gotten more, but RNG trolled us. Our team actually did a fantastic job of taking care of that Veneto, and you can see 2 more ships actually popped up, a main and another Agir. At which point I said, I'm going brawling. This is where this ship excels in close quarters combat. Obviously, your torpedoes are going to help with that. Your secondaries, your hydro, and your decent armor. You will notice we bounced the shot from that Agir. We actually preemptively popped our heel here, and it was unnecessary. We angled correctly against that main and bounced all but 2 of his shots, which I think overpenned on the superstructure or maybe the stern plating. But we did pop our hydro just to make sure that the Agir did not launch torps. He's coming in a straightforward approach, probably going to turn left at the last moment. Our team actually does a pretty fantastic job of shooting him, getting him fairly low health, so even 1 or 2 torps is going to kill him. We take a shot there, bounce a few of them, but get a few pens. He gets his torps off, but only 1 in our nose for minimal damage. Now, it would have been nice to save that heal, but, hindsight is always 20/20. Here, we have the remaining threat in the middle, which is the main. The biggest threat is his guns. He can overmatch our 27mm nose. So we're going to try and take those out with our own guns while keeping our angle. We only have our left side torpedoes, so obviously we have to get those off in order to have a little bit of a chance against him. And that is when he turns into us. So I'm either thinking ram or drive-by. Now, he does angle his guns, but again, we're going to try and take those out. Only get a few overpens on the superstructure, so we're seeing what this main has to do. We angle again, get more bounces. He aimed probably too low. Our secondaries are going off, and that is when he makes his gamer turn. We're going to go ahead and follow the indicator here. And I probably should have put them a touch ahead of the indicator. Sometimes an indicator isn't always correct, but we actually get all 4, a few pens, 6 actually, so 100%. We missed the rear turret there, but we want to angle. Angle is more important than getting that rear turret off. He bounces another shot against our superstructure, gets a few pens there, you can see it, and we've got him lined up, and that is a good night. Thanks for playing. Most of the health from the main, most of the health from the Agir. Well, our team did a decent job on the Agir and a few shots on the Veneno there. So basically a 1v2.5 there in the middle, and our team has done a fantastic job of controlling this match. But that engagement highlights the strengths of the Agir. Good armor, decent guns, torpedoes, hydro, health, secondaries, you've got it all. Now this ship does suffer, I would say, from overall DPM and accuracy, but if you get some shells on target and positioned correctly, you can absolutely rack up the damage, and this game is a perfect example of that. But here we have a few remaining ships, and we still have some HP to play with, which is why I preach not throwing away your HP in the beginning of the match. Now, in that situation, we had to use half of it, but I think 30,000 HP traded for 120 is going to net you wins in most cases. And if a lot of your teammates had that mentality, you'd probably win a lot more games. But 18 players, only 9 can win. You can only one team can win. But here we have a full health Amalfi, La Foudre, and then there is another battleship that we can see, which is grayed out on the mini map. I'm thinking about pushing this corner aggressively, and that is when the Amagi, pops up and is showing that he is going forward. A little trick that you guys can use is, throwing your torpedo indicator out there to see which direction these ships are going. It's pretty obvious on the screen here, but we can, take that torpedo tracker out, see that the Amagi is pushing forward. So that is why we break here. It is not essential to defend this cap. We're up almost 300 points, up, 3 ships here, 4 ships. So, YOLOing into this cap is not the play. From this position, we can take shots undetected and protecting ourselves from that Amagi. He can overmatch our nose, and, 410 Japanese guns do hurt no matter what your armor scheme is. But here we pop the detection. We're going to go ahead and make sure we angle. Hopefully he hits our belt. We actually go undetected right at the edge of this island. So utilizing concealment, utilizing island cover is always going to be your friend. We go detected a little bit later, but take a nice little, 10k salvo from him. Again, just DPMing, and that's when another battleship from behind takes a good chunk from him. So our team is doing a fantastic job of target prioritization. We see that Amagi is the closest, nearest threat, so we're going to go ahead and take shots at him. That is when we see that the Amalfi, decided to go into this A-cap. The game is pretty much over for them. Their team kind of folded early because they didn't necessarily play the middle correctly. So I don't blame them for pushing in, but we see that they're pushing in here, so we're going to go ahead and use that to our advantage. Again, this cruiser has amazing armor, amazing guns, torpedoes, and hydro. And that is when the La Foudre pops out and we say, "Got your nose." We pop the high caliber there. Only got 2 pens, but it was enough. And that is, you can see the destroyer go down on the enemy flank. And now we're just having fun. We have this HP to play with, so we're just going to YOLO in. And I think this is what a lot of German battleship mains or YOLO mains don't understand is this is, probably the most fun engagement, brawling, close quarters combat with torpedoes. The other ship has torpedoes. But they do that in the first 2 minutes and get absolutely wrecked and then blame their team, right? Well, my team didn't push with me. Well, I'm not on a course to Sabaton here and die. If you play it correctly, you check your angles, things like that, you can do this. Here, we dodged the Amalfi torpedoes. And if I'm being honest, I don't know how I got bounces there. It looks like the Amalfi angled at the last second. We threw our torpedoes into the La Foudre, got him, racking up a nice damage total here. This Amalfi actually sent me a message after the game. He played this fairly correct. It's 1v8 right now, so there's not much he can do. You can see he actually put a few good penetrations into me. So again, I'm trying to turn the guns right here for a drive-by, but it looks like he's trying to ram. I'm not sure if he was. He said in the message, like, yo, I'm not trying to ram or whatever, but he already lost his right side torpedoes. We only have our left side torpedoes. Unfortunately, the enemy takes him down before we can use those. But a GG nonetheless. Our secondaries were going off that entire time, and there pops the Dreadnought. A lot of action in a short amount of time. I hope you guys caught the important parts, but this ship, or this game rather, perfectly highlights this ship. 203,000 damage there, 128 secondary hits, the Dreadnought, the high caliber, 9 torpedo hits, 3 ships killed, and a 28 score there, 2798. I know some people are going to be particular in the comments. They always are. Love you guys, but get a life. Here we're going to go over the commander build we were running. If I'm being honest, this is kind of a mixed build. Probably not the best for the ship. We actually switched to fully packed before this game, which was nice for that heal. It probably saved us at the end. But if I'm being honest, refill station is probably what I'm going to run in the future. We are running Agir Lane, Baltimore, and Minbelly there. I don't know. I think this is what I have on my Mines, my Mines build. But that is the build we are running. I'm sure there's better builds out there. Let me know in the comments down below what you think the best build is. But as you can see, it's not always about the build. We got the job done, irrespective of the build. There are our modules, and here are the ship stats: 63,000 or 62,850 on the health. There, the guns are 305 millimeter, with a 17-second reload, 16.9 there. With refill station, it's down to 15, which I like just a touch better. You have the secondaries. Base are out to 6.3. I don't think we have anything going for them. The torpedoes, standard German 6 kilometers, 60 knots. AA defense is actually a surprising 93. I thought it would. I don't know why. I thought it was less, but that's what it is. Maneuverability is decent. Like we mentioned, we have Baltimore, so we increased rudder there. A nice top speed, but your turning circle is fairly large. I'm sure Hipper will have an agile build on this thing, and we are running concealment mod, so an 11.9 concealment. This ship does, it just does a lot of things well. I really enjoy this ship, but yeah. Here's the armor, the 27 millimeter nose. Your Citadel is a little exposed if you get overmatched from that nose, but that is why we angle, right? Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is why we pay attention to our angles. By angling at kind of like this, you're going to throw a lot of those shells onto the main armor belt on the side there, and a lot of them are just going to bounce. They're going to be in that auto bounce region, and yes, you can see up to 190 millimeters near the Citadel. It does have a little bit of a turtle back. It's not the the best turtle back, and the Citadel is above water, so don't show broadside. Here are our quick little view at our stats. Not the best, but all solo, right? Because solo is the most important thing. That's a joke. But yeah, all solo stats there if you guys really want to pry through those. That is the Agir, ladies and gentlemen. I had a fun time playing this ship. I really like this ship. Obviously, I'm in love with the Petro. It's amazing. But yeah, that is the ship. Hope you guys enjoyed that review. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate the viewership, guys. The channel's been doing great. Love you guys. AA Run out. Peace.